Dinosaurs lived during the Mesozoic era, which began approximately 252 million years ago and ended about 66 million years ago. We all know that. But have you ever wondered what came before them? What kind of colossal beasts ruled the Earth long before the first dinosaur took its first breath? Today, we'll take you back even further in time to explore the 15 most terrifying creatures that lived before dinosaurs, and trust us, you'll be glad these monsters are not around anymore. Number 15. Anomalocaris. More than 500 million years ago, the Earth's oceans were stalked by a soft-bodied beast that looked unlike anything alive today. This bizarre-looking animal was Anomalocaris, or unusual shrimp, and is widely regarded as the world's first apex predator, or you could say so, the killer whale of its day. Anomalocaris was the largest hunter of the Cambrian period, measuring up to 1 meter in length from its grasping frontal appendages to the tips of its tail fans. The appendages are thought to have been used to catch and crush prey. For a long time, hard-shelled marine arthropods known as trilobites were assumed to have been Anomalocaris's favorite snack. But new research has suggested that this predator was more of a weakling, incapable of cracking tough trilobite armor. It's now believed Anomalocaris was a hunter that relied on speed, agility, and superior sight rather than strength. This nearly indestructible creature was the king of its time. Number 14. Dimetrodon. Just one look at Dimetrodon, and your eyes are immediately drawn to the enormous sail on its back, a feature shared with the iconic Spinosaurus. But despite its resemblance to dinosaurs, it wasn't one. In fact, it's more closely related to mammals than to dinosaurs. A proto-mammal, Dimetrodon had a few key features that set it apart from its dinosaur cousins, particularly in its skull. Behind its eyes, it had a temporal fenestra, a small hole where jaw muscles attached to the skull. Dimetrodon and other proto-mammals had just one of these. Dinosaurs and their ancestors had two. It also had specialized teeth for different functions, which is where its name Dimetrodon, meaning two-measure tooth, comes from. In contrast, dinosaurs had rows of identical teeth. But what truly makes it stand out is its sail. For a long time, nerds thought it helped regulate its body temperature. However, it's now thought that the sail was used as a visual display to show sexual readiness and intimidate rivals. Well, yup, even they had to work hard to impress the ladies. Number 13. Opabinia. The Opabinia might just be one of the weirdest creatures to ever exist, with its 5 eyes and a unique, long, flexible proboscis. This strange animal lived during the Cambrian period, over 500 million years ago. The proboscis, which likely helped it catch prey, extended from the front of its head and was an essential tool for its feeding strategy. With its backward-facing appendages and a segmented body, Opabinia was perfectly suited for navigating the ocean floor, where it would have hunted small animals and marine invertebrates. Despite its unusual features, it was highly effective at what it did, making it a key predator of its time. Though its appearance might seem comical to us today, it played a crucial role in the early stages of animal evolution during the Cambrian explosion. The bizarre structure of Opabinia adds to the mystery and diversity of early life on Earth. Number 12. Caprosuchus. The Caprosuchus, or boar crocodile, was a fascinating predator that thrived during the mid-Cretaceous period, mainly in what is now North Africa. This formidable creature, which grew to about 10 feet long, was a hybrid of land and aquatic predator traits. Its most striking feature was its 3 sets of large tusks, protruding from both the upper and lower jaws, capable of inflicting devastating damage to prey. These tusks, along with a unique jaw structure that prevented it from keeping its mouth permanently open, allowed Caprosuchus to be more efficient in killing compared to other crocodilians. Unlike many crocodiles with upward-facing eyes, Caprocicus had forward-facing eyes, suggesting a more terrestrial hunting style, similar to large cats. This feature indicates that the Caprocicus likely roamed the African plains, using its aquatic abilities for ambush-style hunting in rivers and lakes, but also pursuing land prey. A true predator of its time, it combined the best of both worlds. Number 11. Thylacoleo. Thylacoleo, often called the marsupial lion, was an apex predator that once roamed Australia during the Pleistocene epoch. With a build reminiscent of modern big cats, it had powerful jaws and massive shearing cheek teeth, perfect for slicing through the tough hides of its prey. Standing at about 2.5 feet at the shoulder and measuring up to 5 feet long, Thylacoleo weighed between 220 to 350 pounds, comparable to the size of a female lion. Its sharp claws and muscular build made it an expert ambush predator, likely stalking its prey before launching an attack. It is thought to have preyed on large herbivores such as the giant Diprotodon, an extinct megafauna. Thylacoleo's adaptability, combined with its unique carnivorous diet and hunting strategy, made it one of the most fearsome predators of prehistoric Australia. Though it has long since disappeared, it remains a powerful symbol of Australia's ancient, savage past. Number 10. Scutosaurus. The Scutosaurus wasn't exactly a speedster, but it sure knew how to take care of itself. This heavily armored reptile was like the tank of the Triassic period, its body covered in bony plates that made it nearly impossible for predators to take down. With its legs placed beneath its body, Scutosaurus had a tall, imposing posture that would have made it look pretty intimidating to anything that crossed its path. This slow-moving creature wasn't out to chase down its prey, but it had a set of powerful teeth designed for grinding plants, as it was a herbivore. But don't let its peaceful diet fool you. Scutosaurus also had an impressive roar, which it likely used to communicate with others of its kind. About the size of a modern-day black rhino, Scutosaurus was a formidable presence, protected by armor, strength, and a pretty loud voice to top it off. Number 9. Astraspis. Astraspis, a jawless fish that thrived during the Ordovician period, was a remarkable example of ancient armor in the animal kingdom. Known for its star-shaped plates covering its body, this beast grew up to 8 inches in length and had a body protected by small, plate-like scales along its flexible tail. The anterior body was adorned with larger, protective plates measuring over 2 millimeters in size. Astraspis also possessed a lateral line, a sensory organ system that allowed it to detect vibrations and movements in the water, much like modern fish. Fossils of Astraspis have been found in Bolivia, offering a glimpse into its widespread distribution. Its bony plates were made of aspirin, a substance chemically similar to modern shark teeth, offering great protection. The fish's large, laterally positioned eyes and 8 gill openings suggest it was well adapted to life in the water, and it likely fed on small marine organisms, playing an important role in the ancient food chain. Number 8. Archaeops. This colossal amphibian, which grew over 6.5 feet in length, ruled the Permian world. Archaeops was a unique creature with a massive skull, thick, uneven bones, and prominent ridges that gave it an intimidating look. What stood out the most were its large, upward-facing eyes and pointed teeth, perfectly designed for a life of predation. Its short limbs were wide and supported by massive shoulder and hip girdles, suggesting that Archaeops was perfectly built for land movement, despite being an amphibian. Covered in bony knobs, its skin likely served as armor against predators. Archaeops's diet mainly consisted of fish, though it could also hunt terrestrial vertebrates, showcasing its adaptability to both land and water environments. With such an imposing size and predatory nature, Archaeops was a dominant force in the ancient Permian ecosystem, earning its place as one of the most successful early amphibians to adapt to life on land. Number 7. Gorgonops. Before dinosaurs took over, the Gorgonopsis was a terrifying predator that ruled the land. Measuring up to 10 feet in length, this fearsome creature was known for its large canine teeth, reaching lengths of up to 4 inches. With a body that resembled a mix of a lion and a lizard, it was part mammalian, part reptilian. Its eyes were positioned on the sides of its head like those of a lizard. Despite its somewhat canine appearance, Gorgonopsis was anything but ordinary. Its body was likely covered in scales, not fur, and its ferocity made it one of the most feared predators of its time. Sadly, Gorgonopsis' reign came to an end during the Permian-Triassic mass extinction, the worst extinction event in Earth's history. But during its peak, it was an apex predator, leaving a legacy of raw power and ferocity. Number 6. Moschops. Well, it might not win any beauty contests, but this heavy-duty herbivore from the Permian time sure knew how to survive. With its thick body and stubby legs, Moschops probably wasn't much of a runner, but it made up for that with its strength and resilience. Think of it like the ancient equivalent of a hippo, bulky, with a head that looked like it could barrel through anything. While it mostly dined on plants, scientists believe Moschops may have occasionally taken a swim, thanks to evidence suggesting it spent some time in water. Its thick skull might have also been used for headbutting contests, much like some modern animals, and could have been a tactic to show dominance or attract mates. This prehistoric creature didn't rely on speed or aggression. It simply used its sheer size and endurance to get by in the harsh world of the Permian period. Number 5. Tanystropheus. About 251.9 million years ago, a catastrophic event known as the Great Dying reshaped life on Earth, wiping out over 90% of species. In the aftermath, nature had a blank canvas to work with, and many of the survivors that emerged were as strange as they were unique. Among them was the Tanystropheus, a reptile so bizarre it looked like something out of a scientist's wild dreams. This 6-meter-long creature had a neck so long it dwarfed its tail and body combined, making it a true marvel of nature. It was initially misdescribed as a dinosaur, but it was a proterosaur and lived in the Middle Triassic, just before the first dinosaurs. It was long thought to have been too top-heavy to be terrestrial. However, recent studies suggest that the creature's weight was more centered around its body, making it capable of walking on land. With its unique features and curious design, Tanystropheus remains one of the most fascinating survivors of the Triassic period. Number 4. Esteminosuchus. This creature was like the rock star of the ancient world, a massive herbivore with a head full of horns that looked extremely hardcore. This beast's head looked like it was ready for some serious showdowns, with horn-like projections sprouting from its skull. This herbivorous didn't just rely on looks, though. Its size and strength suggested it wasn't about running away from predators. Instead, Esteminosuchus probably used those horns in some kind of dramatic prehistoric showdown, trying to prove who was boss. Nerds are still debating about its diet. Was it purely herbivorous, or did it occasionally snack on meat? Its giant size, bulky build, and weird horned head made Esteminosuchus a strange and intimidating figure in the ancient world. With its horns and tough demeanor, it was the ancient world's answer to a prehistoric tank, but with a flair for the dramatic. Number 3. Tiktaalik. Fish aren't typically known for their ability to walk on land, but Tiktaalik wasn't your typical fish. It was, by definition, a fish, but sporting primitive air-breathing lungs, as well as gills, and 4 fleshy appendages that resembled limbs. It was well on its way to becoming a fully fledged terrestrial tetrapod. From fossils found in Arctic Canada, it's estimated that Tiktaalik grew to lengths of 3 meters. This huge size, combined with large jaws full of needle-like teeth, a mobile neck, and eyes on the top of its head, suggests it was a predator specially adapted for hunting fish in the shallows. Some think it may have even preyed on other, smaller fishopods that lived on the margins between land and water. In pursuit of prey, Tiktaalik relied not only on what it had up top, but underneath too. Unlike most other fish, Tiktaalik had robust fins that could support its weight outside of the water, attached to highly mobile joints. Where it falls on the vertebrate family tree is debated, but there's no denying that it lived during a vital time in the evolution of four-limbed animals. Number 2. Eurypterids. Eurypterids, or sea scorpions, were among the most terrifying marine predators of the Paleozoic era, reigning from around 460 to 248 million years ago. These creatures, which ranged in size from a human hand to over 8 feet long, were armored, spiny arthropods with powerful claws, designed for seizing and immobilizing prey. Their sheer size and ferocity made them dominant predators in ancient seas. Some species, like Jacalopterus, could grow to immense lengths, with fossil evidence suggesting they could reach up to 8 feet, making them the largest known arthropods to ever live. Their diet likely consisted of smaller arthropods, fish, and other marine life. While most eurypterids thrived in saltwater environments, some ventured into freshwater habitats, demonstrating their adaptability. These creatures are long gone, but their reign over ancient seas left an indelible mark on the history of life on Earth, making them one of the most formidable and chilling predators of their time. Number 1. Inostrancevia. Cross a polar bear with a saber-toothed cat, and you'd get something resembling Inostrancevia. It was a proto-mammal, an ancient ancestor of today's modern mammals, like Dimetrodon, but looked very different, less like a reptile and more like a big cat. It also had longer legs than Dimetrodon, which suggests it was a runner, and a fast one at that. Inostrancevia had saber-shaped canines that could land killer blows on the necks of mega herbivores, such as Scutosaurus. As a proto-mammal, its jaws were packed with other kinds of teeth too, but these weren't used for chewing. Instead, Inostrancevia used a puncture pull strategy, tearing away huge chunks of meat. It's unknown whether Inostrancevia was covered in scale-like skin, like its ancestors, or fur, like its mammalian descendants. That said, researchers have found some clues in coprolites, fossilized feces, that may have been left by them or some close relatives. It's thought that hair-like structures contained within the coprolites came from smaller members of the same clade, therapsids, that Inostrancevia likely preyed upon. If smaller therapsids had hair, then Inostrancevia probably did too. If you enjoyed this prehistoric journey, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you can never miss any of our upcoming wild stories.